Hi there, Titans, and welcome back to another Titan Academy video. Today we'll be talking about text elements and how you can populate them with values and format them to your liking. We will show you how you can set values to your text elements, how you can run Salesforce gets to populate your text elements with data from Salesforce. We'll show you how you can configure HTML mode for your text elements and how you can set value using HTML. Let's get started. So the first thing to note is that you can use any of these text elements over here, title, heading, subhead, paragraph, or caption, in order to do this. In our case, we're using title, but any of these will work the same way. And the first thing we're going to show is how you can do set value to a text element. In order to do this, I've got a button, but this can be from a condition or anything that triggers an action. And I've got an affected elements node here. And all I'm doing is, and I'll just do it again, I'm going to click my set value to me. That is the text element that I want to affect here. And notice here that also I have here another text element that I didn't give a metadata tag to. So it's really important that you give metadata tags so that you can find your text element easily. And what I'm doing here is set value. Of course, you can also do set value from or set a custom value. And in this case, I'm doing set value, and we'll just say new value like this, and apply. Next, set value to text. And I'll apply. We'll save. I'll preview it. And just like that, I get my new value right over here. The next thing I want to show is that we can populate our text values from Salesforce. And I've already set up this get, and this get is bringing data from a contact. And it's going to be based on my lookup field for my contact, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I'm going to select a certain contact, I'll run my get, and I'll bring the full name to our get value from Salesforce text field. So let's go ahead and preview that, and I'll select a contact here. I'll run my get, and just like that, I'm able to populate this value from Salesforce. Now, we could also do more interesting things, such as bringing date fields to text elements. You can run a custom get. I'll demonstrate that quickly. So if I come back to the mapping here, and now instead of full name, I'm going to do custom, and I'll say, let's say, welcome full name. So now I'm able to concatenate text from Salesforce with some static text like welcome. And again, if I run this get, now I get the full text welcome, this value from Salesforce, and the rest is all static. Now, the other thing we can do here is we can also bring rich text from Salesforce. So on my contact here, I have some rich text in a rich text field, and I'm going to go ahead and first of all, I need to do a couple things to get this to work. So the first thing I need to do is head over to the settings of this element, and I need to click on custom HTML and make this able to accept HTML. Now I can head over to my Salesforce get, and instead of pulling in the full name here or some kind of custom, instead I'm going to bring in here the rich text field from my contact, and I want to make sure that when I bring it in, I'm formatting it. This is very important. I need to format this as HTML when I bring it into my project. So I'm bringing in HTML, and I've configured HTML on the element itself in order for it to accept HTML values. So if I preview this now, and I run my get, notice I get the rich text from Salesforce with bold, underline, italics, color, and whatever rich text abilities I have in Salesforce. All right. Now, once we're talking about HTML, note that you don't have to populate this from Salesforce. You can, of course, set up the HTML here. So, for example, if I want this font to be larger, and I want part of this to be italics, and part of this to be bold, and I can even style with different background color or text color. Let's move this back to like this. And this will allow me to just style my element as HTML. Okay. Now, I want to show you what happens. Let's say we move this to HTML, and I give it some kind of styling, make this bold, make this italics, and we'll make the whole thing a bit bigger. All right, so we have some kind of HTML styling happening here. Let's also give it color just to make it a little bit more recognizable as HTML. Okay, so we see some kind of HTML here. Now notice what will happen when I do set value. So when I set value to this field now, notice how it reverted and lost the HTML. And that's because I'm setting a value that's not an HTML value. So what can I do to keep the HTML value but still set a new text to the field? So a quick way to do this would be to grab the HTML code from right over here. I'll just copy this. Of course, you can write your own custom HTML code for what I'm about to do. But what I'm going to do here is I'll grab that code and I'll say set value to me, set value, sending value to this particular field, and I'm pasting in the HTML code here. Now I can decide whatever I want to change the text to over here. So for example, I'll change the text here to new text, and this will get added to my HTML that I'm setting here. And you can see that I still have some of the words from my previous, like this, that I could theoretically get rid of and me, but you can see here's my new text here, and this will now appear as HTML with some new text there when I do the set value. So just like that, I still retain my HTML, but I'm able to actually update this field with new values. And that's how it's done.